Welcome everyone to Things Around 8. Dear friends, in this video I will try to clarify a question that has been asked a lot on the channel in recent days. After all, what force did Ukraine use in the invasion of Kursk? And what does this tell us about its objective in Russia? And if you are not yet subscribed to the channel, subscribe now and activate the notification bells so you don't miss any news. On August 6, to the surprise of the world, Ukraine invaded Russia. Initially, it was thought to be yet another incursion led by Russian dissident groups, like the three carried out between 2023 and 2024 in Bryansk and Belgorod, led by groups such as the Russian Freedom Legion. On those three occasions, the incursions were always brief and with very limited resources, with the forces retreating back to Ukraine after a maximum of 6 or 7 days, with little or no strategic gain. However, in the August incursion into Kursk, it became clear after a few days that the force involved was much larger and much better armed and equipped, with numerous videos and photos showing Ukrainian and Western armored vehicles rapidly spreading throughout the Russian oblast. Thanks to a combination of factors such as, for example, the surprise factor with the Ukrainians advancing completely unexpectedly and against a sector that had been quite quiet until then, and, just as importantly, thanks to the Ukrainian force involved in this incursion. The Ukrainian Ministry of Defense reported that more than 80 locations and about 1,000 square kilometers of Russian territory are now occupied, with an estimated number of more than 1,000 Russian soldiers having been captured in just 10 days of fighting. Although Putin has stated that he is giving top priority to driving the Ukrainians out of Kursk, so far Russian efforts have been insufficient, with the Ukrainians continuing to advance in some sectors and maintaining and consolidating gains in others. This raises a very pertinent question. How much force is Ukraine deploying to invade Russia? For obvious security reasons, we do not know exactly how large this force is. Therefore, we need to rely on observations and expert analysis, with easier access to official sources. Recently, the German army published a video with more than 20 minutes of detailed analysis of the Ukrainian action in Kursk, with German officers, who, as we know, have much easier access to the Ukrainian Ministry of Defense, providing some very interesting figures and information, which allows us to determine with some precision the composition and force deployed by Ukraine against Kursk. According to the Germans, the Ukrainians deployed at least 4 battalions in Kursk, with at least 1 or 2 battalions in reserve. This means that, in numerical terms, we are talking about an invasion force of up to 6,000 soldiers, with another 2,000 in tactical reserve, ready to reinforce positions in danger or to exploit the advance in areas with a weaker Russian presence. In terms of armored vehicles, the Germans did not give much away in their analysis. But considering the usual number of armored vehicles that each Ukrainian battalion usually operates, we can deduce that at least 200 or 300 armored combat vehicles are being used in this invasion, from Soviet-era vehicles such as the BTR-80, to Western vehicles received by Ukraine since the beginning of the invasion, such as the American Stryker. And of course, heavy armored vehicles such as the T-72, with some sources mentioning that the British Challenger 2 is also being used to support other armored vehicles, since, on average, 3 to 4 soldiers are needed for logistics for each fighter. It is estimated that 10 to 12,000 Ukrainian soldiers are in the rearguard providing logistical support for this invasion, bringing the total number of soldiers that Ukraine has deployed for the invasion of Kursk to around 20,000. Based on these numbers, we can deduce that this is an operation with limited strategic objectives. With 6 to 8,000 fighters, Ukraine is clearly incapable of achieving very ambitious goals, such as encircling and controlling the regional capital, the city of Kursk, with a population of 415,000. But it may be enough to, for example, endanger the Kursk nuclear power plant, just 20 kilometers from the current Ukrainian positions. Although Ukraine's strategic goals are apparently not very bold, with 6 to 8,000 fighters, they are capable of forcing Putin to withdraw units from active sectors on the front line, which is precisely one of Ukraine's main goals with this operation, weakening some sectors and relieving pressure on more critical areas. And if you are not yet subscribed to the channel, subscribe now and activate the notification bells so you don't miss any news.